This is actually a follow-up, if you want to call it that, because we're going to be talking about Connor Shaw again. Yes, the same person that made that horrible video on why Doom 2016 is better than Doom Eternal. You might know them as the individual who has made a demo. Of course, it's not a safe for work game, but whatever. They can do what they want with their time. A game called You'll Not See Heaven, and I kind of made a very silly, exaggerated video reading the preview of it for some time ago. So come to find out that the project is basically dead. So let's just cue the music and I'll provide the sauce. And hopefully, if you don't mind, the sauce will be listed in number code. And you want to know what numbers are known as? Binary or non-binary. Hey, it's been a while. I've been very busy with a bunch of other projects, writing articles about how the Trevor project was union busting, investigating the games company Starbreeze for the circumstances around their recent game launches, and mass firing of employees, interviewing the developers of a game that deserved better, among other things. Well, Connor, as much as I'd love to care, and I'm sure you're doing God's gift on this wonderful world, that's not what this is about right now, but maybe I'll keep it in mind if I need filler content. So I'm not going to be too harsh just yet. I'm going to level with you. I haven't opened We Will Not See Heaven's project file for more than 30 minutes at a time in well over a year. It seems to be usually about the average time spent some individuals who make hentai games that slowly but surely make its way to not abandoned or ongoing status. Other projects consumed me. The world state consumed me. Poor health and need for money. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. And scope creep and a million things took all my time. I could have done better delegating time. Since there's a couple things that changed in the gaming world since I started writing my not safe for work game. Oh boy, here we go. Connor Shaw is going to be talking about their not safe for work visual novel game using Ren'Py. AI looks like shit, but it also kind of looks like my photo bashed scenes. Okay, to those wondering, yes, I did play a bit of it. Yes, I did record footage for it. Warning, you're about to play a Connor Shaw video game. Thank you for playing the demo We Will Not See Heaven. I worked very hard on it. Just a few things we should get out of the way first. Oh boy. Connor Boy is going to be talking to us directly. Damn it, I wanted a harem ending. This isn't like Doom Eternal then, great. I don't have to worry about some shitty checkpoint system, great. So we got a trigger warning in a visual novel. That's just not excellent. Existential, fuck it, discuss about the afterlife, plus plenty of strong language. No cussing in the premises. What? Damn it, Connor. I paid you $10 for this shit, and you're not gonna let me have intercourse in this visual novel? How are my rocks gonna get knocked off now? God damn it. It's just a funny toggle. Yeah, you wanna know what's funny? Forget it. Oh good, it's just like in Modern Warfare 2 with no Russian. Now, let us commence Russian attack. Life is more than mortal form. The effects of being you extend beyond the immediate. Your decisions make waves in the lives of those around you, and as such, you continue to live as those memories evolve into miracles. Dying ain't all that bad, neither is being dead. So what, they're in limbo? There are plenty of religions out there that have gotten close to understanding what the afterlife is truly like. I'm not going to make any comments about that. Having died once myself, I'll do my best to describe it. Oh god, it's going to be one of those games? Really? You may wonder how I ended up here. Let's talk about it for 6 hours. Death isn't like that. You're not worried about the future, because your future is done. It's simply nothing. And that's fine. Oh yes, I'm feeling quite fine actually, why thank you. You're lucky. Or unlucky. Wait. Is there a fucking typo in this? Maybe the afterlife took design cues from humanity's own expectations. Regardless,
Here's how it works. There's several places you can end up. Wait, I thought this game would have no bad endings. What the fuck? My guess is only the truest kind of souls. People who dedicated their lives to making everyone else's lives suck less? Wait a minute, I thought this was a game for everyone. There's a loose structure, but many people in hell are homeless. Though without the worry of death, it's less of a concern. So is heaven or hell the better ending? Now I'm just confused. You can still sleep and eat, but you don't have to. It's like a cheat code then, basically. Things are pretty unregulated. Anytime some timer tries to take over, people don't really care. Oh god, we're gonna get some subliminal messages about cops, aren't we? Damn it, Connor, I thought we talked about this. People in hell don't die, and pain doesn't last. So something they can't take or offer that will convince people that their way is better. If anything, some people would find things pretty sweet in that layer of hell. You can sleep eternity away, which isn't much different than initial death. Explore the ruins, maybe open up a business of some kind, or just meet and chat with people forever. Yeah, it's why Helltale Has-Been exists, right? If you're, say, mentally unstable and do something severe you regret, you won't end up in deep hell. There's heaven, unless you're some kind of saint. You're not getting in there. Alright, we get it. I never once saw the doors to heaven open while I was working at Entry. We'll get to that in a second. Then hell's divided into two layers. Upper hell, the chaotic pain of party of afterlives, and deep hell, the damnation only the most willingly wicked deserve. So you probably heard me mention Entry there a moment ago. Here's the deal. Nobody's quite sure how it came to be, but every billion deaths or so, a human soul gets sent to work in Entry. This isn't a place between heaven and hell, if you're wondering. It's more like the waiting room. So, limbo, and I thought there were no bad endings, Connor. There's basically the good ending, the neutral ending, and the shithole ending. Awesome. Essentially, we were tasked with keeping tabs on Earth's timeline and its potential futures. So we're playing as the Clockwork henchman from Danny Phantom, the Ultimate Enemy or something? Except it's more outrageous? Now you may be asking, if hell is for the bad to worst of us, and heaven is just for the select few, what about people who are just nice, normal? Ellipses, lol. I hate this. I hate the idea of it. So they want a middle ground then. There's more than just heaven and hell, dude. Then again, if you're dead, you don't care. You're just dead. If you're some kind of weirdo who wants to go to hell, like me, good news, you probably can. You just gotta take enough bucks to wind up in upper hell without becoming such a monster that you spend eternity paying for it. But isn't that wrong? If I had my way, all souls would rest peacefully. That seems like the best case scenario. You live, you die. No matter how good you were in heaven, you were in your lifetime, death is simply a finality. However, because there is the potential in afterlife, it should be available to everyone equally. What is eternity worth if you can't spend it with those that you love? Well, you'll find out soon enough, I guess. Now get off my bus. Each of them was trained by the souls designed to work there before them, and before them, and before them, going back to the beginning of time. Yes, back when it was Adam and Steve. Okay, that was really fucking stupid. Now, here's some information worth knowing about souls through their design. Dinged? I think that's supposed to be designed? I never heard of Diagnigged. Whatever. Now, here's the kicker. Depending on your desires and performance review, it was possible to obtain a pass to return to Earth. What a shit little motherfucking bullshit. Hell would be too boring with my friends to share it with, and I could hardly call my co-workers friends. Sorry, that was a tangent. Oh really, says the man who's reading this right now. Point being, after that long of not really giving a shit. Okay, now we're starting to get into swear territory now. With a similar glance, I slipped through the R-marked wall, finding myself in a chilling corridor. Okay, why the fuck does this look like the sandbag hall from Super Smash Bros? They literally look like the sandbags. And the master core at the end of the hallway. Shittiest Smash game ever, by the way. I thought about turning back. My soul was crying out for relief. Without anywhere to hide in that long stretch of corridor, what exactly could I hope to achieve there? The end. Good. Okay, that was a great-ass game. The sex scenes were great. Slipping around the corner I had just turned, I heard a loud shuck shuck. Shuck shuck. Shuck shuck. Shuck shuck. Shuck shuck. I don't know why that hit me so funny, but okay, sorry. I didn't mean to ruin the atmosphere. Let's keep going. Sorry. Can you guess what time it is? It's adventure time, motherfuckers! Now then, here we are. I'm a presence here on Earth and cause a fuss in the afterlife about the impending end of days. I told you everything. I kept my end of the deal. You know why I'm here, why I'm doing this, and most of all, you know I don't want to live or die without you. So, in these final days we have on Earth together, all I can ask is, will you go to hell with me?
And yes, it was fucking shit, which is why I didn't do a follow-up to it. It was fucking trash, and I have no way of figuring out how the hell I was going to get around to that, so I basically scrapped it. Maybe if I'm ever bored, I guess, but don't expect it. The water filter that Connor had going on in their game was just really ridiculous looking, but this is going to be good. And yes, I kind of read this in advance because I actually got this email after my live stream last night, so let's see what Connor has to say for themselves. I am very much against using generative AI tools, especially in commercial works. It's actually pretty base. I have made that very clear as it's in red underline writing. However, the vague, blurry, almost spaces generated by AI is a similar kind of aesthetic I was trying to achieve on purpose with trippy photos taken and blurred together, which still looks like shit, but whatever. I've seen someone use it if you want to use it as a placeholder, AI at least, I guess it's fine, but using it in the final product, I can see why people be pretty pissed off about that. Honestly, with the way that AI has been as of late, it's an extremely touchy subject. It could be along the lines of religion and abortion, but I don't even want to assume that's going that far, but let's just see what Connor is to say. I am worried people will think my game uses AI art because the aesthetic of smear and dreamlike reality have been compromised. Yes, this has absolutely made me completely rethink what I even like about the aesthetic in the first place. Well, first of all, Connor, don't use it aesthetic. It looks like shit. And second of all, you can just say your game is not using AI. I don't think people have an issue if your game doesn't use AI, but if you're using an aesthetic that looks like shit, it's an aesthetic that looks like shit. It's not that hard to make people come to a conclusion. It just looks like shit. Who might like it, but personally, I don't really think it looks that good. It looks like one of those really awful washed out color schemes that just isn't for me, but whatever, that's how I feel about it. This next one's a doozy. Slop games keep pouring out, especially visual novels, and not just on the landscape of modern video games, but even on the hentai side of it, but you didn't hear that from me. To be clear, I love visual novels. I have played my fair share. However, it's a medium that is uniquely vulnerable to AI garbage clones. Given that images and text are the only things the garbage tech can barely do, well, I think that another AI program can probably do text a lot better. You can even revise it for yourself and then say that it was completely made with proper wordsmithing tools like keyboard and pen. With the first consideration in place, and truly how many games exist in the world, I can't fairly expect anyone to pay attention to my game when there's a sea of 1,000 others, and of them, at least 100th much better games. Connor, your only real fame, as far as I can tell, is making a shitty video, their words, not mine, on a modern video game that a lot of people like, except for me. Unless you're like making a game that Andy Pants Gaming has made, I don't think people are going to care about this, just gonna be honest. It's a very niche audience for something like this. That's just honestly my 2 cents. There are some other things I want to mention, but I'm gonna save that for later. Number 3, the whole payment processors and not safe for work games thing. Look it up. I'm not weighing in on it. Yeah, this is the thing that got people pretty pissed off at Itch.io, in that they're essentially removing a bunch of not safe for work games, even some that could be considered tasteless, and not just the topic itself, but the fetish itself. And the whole payment thing about how card companies are essentially declining people because, God forbid, you use your money for smut. And of course, most importantly, number 4, my drawing tablet died. And honestly, my wrists have been killing me. Drawing was difficult before, but I can't finish the game alone. I'm not good enough to. Well, I have not given up on this game by any means. Yeah, that's a complete lie, and we'll get to that when we get to it. I need to instead rein in its scope and hire artists to create art for the backgrounds and characters, which is why doing a project like this, even if it's just a one-man team, is kind of shitty. Look, you're not exactly Prime Vinciano or the person who made Dust and Elysian Tale, so even something as low scale as a visual novel, this clearly was a project that essentially failed to launch. And not that movie that came out. Which means it's going to be a good while longer. Yeah, how long are you going to keep us fucking waiting, dude, honestly? I've got over 200,000 words written, and a moment I have decided will become the ending of the first part of the game. And that will be released when it's ready. Oh yes, using the classical Blizzard writing trope. That's always gonna play well. After I finish my current promised works, after I get cheaper housing so I can afford artists, I need time. Everybody needs time, and it's unfortunately a resource that will never be refunded. The world is bad. I'm doing my best. I'm sorry. If you pre-ordered this game and want your money back, let me know and I'll work something out. There's only a couple of you anyhow, and I appreciate it very much. Honestly, I'm one of them. I'm one of the few motherfuckers that actually pre-ordered this shit, because I actually wanted to see this project come into fruition. I hope whoever reads this has a confusing crew left. Game will exist eventually, when it's ready. When I'm ready. Well, SpongeBob, I don't think you're ready, so let me go ahead and explain myself a little bit further with my personal details about this shit. Okay, so a couple things I want to say about Connor Shaw's game, first of all. Yes, the art style that Connor Shaw used, I know it's not AI, but that doesn't mean that it's immune to criticism. It really does look like shit. Essentially took a picture from the real world, smudged it in some sort of filter that would give a lot of games, you know, it makes them look even worse, and they just kind of called it a day. There's actually a comment, I don't think this was here when I read this initially, essentially saying that they mentioned about the blurred card JPEG, and that they just had to have a background, so here you go, have SUV.png smeared with 12 filters and paint.gov. Like, holy shit, that is much more accurate than I could imagine it. So, Connor, it's not that you're being accused of using AI, it's just the art style that you went with just looks like shit. There's really no other way to put it, but I guess just to play devil's advocate, placeholders are fine, but the first impression is still the most important, and I definitely will agree that using such things in the final product, or even to some people just using it at all, can be really shitty. But number 2, there was actually another article or post that Connor made actually saying that the demo was going to be free despite charging $10 for it, which honestly I'm a little bit pissed off at, considering that yes, I was one of the few people who actually fucking paid for the damn thing, because obviously we gotta support Connor, as they are the most intellectual of humans, going against a machine of saying that Doom 2016 is better than Doom Eternal. Okay, no, it doesn't really go that deep, but, you know, okay. a game on itch.io, visual novel. It's a little bit pricey, and it's only a demo. You're essentially paying for a demo build, which is kind of crazy. There's way too many games that charge such money for it, and it gets really insane later. I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's not even anything really interesting. It's just demo build available for free. Please let me know what you think. The first couple hours are available now, which, yeah, that's it. There's nothing here, as the guard from Metal Gear Solid 2 would say. Nothing here, and really nothing to talk about. This was actually in May 14th of 2023, and we are in the year 2025. Almost reaching the fourth quarter of 2025. And just today, or yesterday technically, saying that this game is essentially abandoned, which honestly is a bit of a shame. No, I'm not going to ask for a refund, because that honestly will be a bit of a dick move, even if Connor did openly say that if you want your money back, I understand, and we can work something out. No, I'm not going to do that, because, you know, I paid for the product. Sure, I've wasted it, but they aren't exactly in the best places, so whatever, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to let this slide. Let me get into the more serious bits of it. Even in the not safe for work side of things, there are so many fucking shovelware of porno games that not only have abandoned / ongoing status and just taking forever to finish, that it's not even funny. There are games out there, and even one I ran into recently, that essentially charges you for AI slop, and you have to have not only the version of the game that has the shit, but you also need a fucking password from Patreon, and it's fucking insane. Seriously, people want to complain about Battlefield 6 being the Call of Duty killer, but what about people within the gaming verse who want to relish the world with their sick, twisted fantasies, but also charging money, money for fucking AI slop? And of course, it's the one choice that obviously people are going to use, but you got to pay $5 for your AI-generated slop, and you have to put in a fucking password, otherwise you don't see it. That's honestly fucked. That is so fucked that's not even funny. This one game that I've seen, which I'm not even gonna mention or disclose the name of it, you're just gonna have to find it yourself. It's not only tagged improperly, but it also is a fucking card game that I legit had to look up because I have no idea how to fucking play the game. And it's also nice that the fucking game doesn't even have a fucking practice mode or whatever, so you can actually play against the characters in the game. It's so fucking deranged and disgusting that it almost made me lose my lunch. Seriously, it's just so fucking gross. People think that it's just the modern AAA landscape of video games that can get away with such shit. Even if it's in the weird, deprived of human sense and just being fucking weird about it, it's still something that should be called out in a weird sense, just not so much publicly on a platform like this, but still, it's just fucking gross. Going back to We Will Not See Heaven again. This game was available for pre-orders in 2022. And again, we're in August of 2025. Connor, this game is dead. It's fucking dead. It's deader than Red Dead Redemption, and not the fucking Pentel from King of the Hill, whose name is Red Lead Redemption. This game is fucking dead. I was kind of interested in seeing how this was going to go. I don't know if this is going to blow up in any capacity. There's even a channel trailer on YouTube. Let's actually have a look at it, actually. I'm kind of curious. I want to see if people, left comments about it. They actually enlisted it. I love the content warning, by the way. But seriously, this shit is so dumb. Connor is just another one of those people who made a not safe for work demo of a game that's probably going to be abandoned and will unfortunately just be thrown alongside in the various shovelware of games that have promise but are just either abandoned or it's going to be a very, very, very long time before the game even comes out, and that's honestly kind of disappointing. And I don't think people are going to really care about this, but as one of the very few people who actually put money into this and have some sort of background about not safe for work games in some capacity, it's honestly kind of fucked. It's really, really sad. I also like how Connor still has the charging $9.99 USD for it, so they didn't really update that at all. That's nice. I don't think it's really worth it. You probably have played much better visual novels that aren't even not safe for work, and just knowing that the game is dead, basically, there's really not much reason to even care about it, alright? I hate to use the typical comparison, but at least Hollow Knight wasn't a fucking game that was made in early access and then slowly but surely built into this masterpiece of a game that came out today. That would go to No Man's Sky. That's like the most safe for work version of a game that you could compare to a lot of not safe for work games or even other games in general that isn't like Ubisoft or whatever. It's honestly disgusting. And the fact that people kind of brush this off because, it's degenerate horny bait games is kind of disingenuous. People charge money for incomplete products, and if you're gonna go after big name companies, then you kind of gotta go after your own kind for kind of pulling the same shit. Even if you're just a one or small man team, that kind of shit is just unacceptable. So yeah, that's really all I have to say. This project, while it was nice to kind of make a little think about, which I'm sure nobody cares, but just figured I'd bring some form of update for like the 0 people that actually care about it. At least I can figure out what game to use for background or whatever. I already have an idea of what to use. This game is basically dead. I'm kind of, as they would say, black-pilled. God, even just saying that makes me want to vomit. This game is not coming out, and if it does, then, well, holy shit, but I'm definitely not convinced. Well, Connor, hopefully you take it easy and fight against the machine, I guess, for people who want to call Modern Doom the best shit ever. Yo, Connor should do a fucking video talking about Doom the Dark Ages. That would be fucking sweet. Nah, to just piss off the commentary channels that essentially hounded Connor for a hot take when I've recently seen Joe from Seattle kind of making similar points, but I'll digress. Well, I'm going to go back to doing literally anything else. This is kind of a nothing burger, but at least it's one I don't mind. Better to complain about some bullshit like this than to complain about DRM, I guess.